Welcome to Ben on Breaking News. I'm Ben Meiselas, and this is your breaking news. Earlier this morning, we learned that the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, took a very quick trip to Moscow. We still don't know the reason for his trip to Moscow to apparently meet with Putin. In normal times, this information would be provided to the American people. We would get a readout. We would have an understanding what the plan is. It's very rare, after all, to do a visit like this, but this comes at the same time that Donald Trump continues to make posts of himself and Kim Jong-un together. Of course, North Korea allied with Russia. I find it fascinating. I saw some people's response to my video, some pundits' response to the video this morning I did about Trump sending CIA Director Ratcliffe to Russia, as people saying, actually, Ben, you got it wrong. I think that Ratcliffe was there to stand up to Putin. You see, Ratcliffe has supported Zelensky before, and so this is Donald Trump and Ratcliffe showing support to Zelensky. And I'm like, seriously, that's what you think that meeting was about? Like, seriously? I mean, after Donald Trump promised Zelensky interceptors or interceptor licenses and never delivered, after Donald Trump and Elon Musk are refusing to allow Zelensky to access Starlink for purposes of hitting the Russian ballistic missile launchers. You honestly believe that this was, we're going to look Putin in the eyes and we're going to say, you need to cut it out, Putin. Come on. Like, how naive can you be about what's like the totality of Donald Trump's conduct still makes you normalize this behavior? It shouldn't at all. So while Donald Trump was posting like love photos of himself and Kim Jong-un this morning, of course, he was also attacking Canada and saying that Canada has been ripping off the United States and no one has treated us more unfairly than Canada. I mean, the whining is just so utterly pathetic. And we've seen Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and Trump has trotted out all of his MAGA sycophants to whine about Canada's being mean to us. They're retaliating. Only two countries retaliated against us. What was China and it was Canada. And they're so mean, they shouldn't retaliate against us. I mean, why in the world? Why in the world should they not retaliate? When you declare a war and call them the 51st state, but Donald Trump's post this morning was, over the last 10 years, the United States lost on average $60 billion a year with Canada. No more, President DJT, over the last 10 years. But what does that mean? We've lost on average $60 billion. You just make up fake stats. We didn't lose $60 billion. Canada supplies a huge amount of electricity in the United States. A huge amount of our crude imports comes from Canada. Aluminum, nickel, lumber, okay? Other critical minerals come from Canada. If Canada put a surcharge on electricity, and if Canada went and started to retaliate the way they're going to now, it is going to inflict real pain. But maybe you should think about that before launching, I don't know, a trade war against Canada. And we're learning more details about what actually went down in the discussions with Canada, and how Howard Lutnick really injected himself in the 11th hour, quite literally, into the negotiations, and then tried to impose new terms and basically say Canada has to get U.S. approval on all of the trade deals that Canada enters into. And also, this agreement as it relates to the United States is non-binding. It's only binding as it relates to Canada. But if the U.S. wants to back out of it, the U.S. has an out at any time. And of course, Prime Minister Carney is going to be like, what the hell is this? As I've always said from the outset, you can't do a deal with Donald Trump. It was actually Warren Buffett who said, you can't do a good deal with a bad person. Although I did hear Premier Wab Canoe repeat that line as well. But I believe it was Warren Buffett who said it first. But I say it more simply. You can't do a deal with Donald Trump. He's never done deals his life. He's always been a destroyer. He's never been a builder. And he always uses negotiation as a way to lure people into the auspices of good faith. And then he sucker punches you. Notably, the United States Constitution is the ultimate contract. Article 2, the executive branch, has in it, just like contracts do, an implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. It's called the Take Care Clause, right? Congress passes laws, and the executive is required, obligated to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. It's not the executive branch that creates laws. It's not the executive branch that creates affirmative kind of, that doesn't create laws. It's Congress that passes the law. The president signs it into law and executes the law faithfully. And you could have an executive order, which, if there's ambiguity in the law, talks about how you're going to faithfully execute it. But an executive order is not a new law. In a little bit in this episode, too, I will talk about the Supreme Court's ruling on the election-related case, right, involving the mail ballots, the Supreme Court's ruling that basically stayed the lower court rulings regarding Trump's executive order to kind of allow the executive order to be implemented. And the Supreme Court said, the states that are challenging these things that Trump's trying to do in the election, it's premature. There isn't an injury yet. There's no standing. There's no justiciability, is what a lot of the is what the right-wing Supreme Court said. And I know that there are a lot of legal analysts out there who said, don't read too much into the Supreme Court's ruling because the Supreme Court's not saying Donald Trump wins. It's just saying it's an issue of standing and justiciability. And there's already an injunction regarding Trump's efforts to put this new rule forward that's now been actually promulgated by the U.S. Postal Service to have the federal government control the way the mail is handled on ballots, which should be a states' rights issue. And there's an injunction blocking the federal government from doing that now that the rule was actually implemented. So people are like, don't worry about it, or don't read too much into the Supreme Court ruling. I think that I understand that, and I somewhat agree with that. But I go right to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent. And also you had Kagan and Sotomayor do a separate dissent. But let's be clear. Justice Jackson was not like, hey, whatever, everybody, it's all good. We cool here. No, I mean, she made it very clear that the majority in granting an emergency stay for the Trump regime is injecting a lot of confusion into the electoral process. The way I've described it, and I try to break things down as I do when I teach law, is if somebody pointed a gun at you and said, I'm going to shoot you in the face, and whoever's doing that has a history of shooting people in the face, and you go, I'm injured because you're threatening to shoot me in the face, and you go to court and go, hey, that guy who shoots people in the face is now threatening to shoot me in the face. Stop him from shooting me in the face. And then the Supreme Court goes, well, you haven't been shot in the face yet, so you haven't suffered. Come back to me once you're shot in the face, and then we'll deal with it. To me, that's similar to what the Supreme Court ultimately said right here. In this ruling, they said the states, you haven't been injured. The Trump regime hasn't put forward their rule yet. Once they put forward the rule, then you're injured. Then you can come back to us, and then we'll rule. And so, okay, but at that point, don't you realize that the Trump regime is going to inject so much confusion? And what they want to do is create so many problems and so many issues in the election process that once you suffer the injury, it becomes confusing what states are supposed to do and how they're going to handle it once the post office promulgates a rule. And then even if what happened now is that the states actually won separately an injunction against the rule, now that the rule has been passed and that injunction was granted last week, the Trump regime is going to engage in bad faith. And they're going to be like, okay, well, we already put the barcodes on at the federal level, and so we've ordered the Postal Service, don't acknowledge the barcodes of the states. And the states are going to be like, but we've got an injunction to block that. And then the U.S. Postal Service is going to be like, well, we don't know what to do here because it was too late. We already prepared this and now we're confused. And so I understand why there's a lot of lawyers, especially lawyers that I respect, who are saying, don't read too much into the order because the Supreme Court order, because other aspects of that executive order regarding the mail ballots, it's already blocked. And the Supreme Court didn't say what Trump's doing is okay and that Trump has the right to impose his will on states. But I still, think it's deeply concerning that it can create lots of confusion in the election process, which is what Trump wants to create. Imagine this. Imagine a Democratic president or whoever is the president. What if they did an executive order ordering the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms to promulgate a rule that says any AR-15s that are out there are unlawful and that they should be seized, anybody who has a semi-automatic weapon. And the rule, the executive order asks the agency to go ahead and examine the issue about seizing semi-automatic weapons from people. Okay? Do you think the Supreme Court would strike that down and say it's a violation of the Second Amendment? Of course they would. They wouldn't be like, oh, the injury hasn't been done yet. No, they would say there's a Second Amendment. You can't just seize people's semi-automatic weapons. And so you can't engage in a rulemaking process that could lead to the seizure of people's semi-automatic weapons. Of course, they would block that. They wouldn't say, oop, the injury hasn't been done yet, right? Of course they wouldn't. And so no matter what the U.S. Postal Service ultimately decided what their rule would be to infringe upon state rights in the election process, right? The very fact that the U.S. Postal Service would be infringing upon states' rights in elections, no matter what the rule is, what they ultimately came up with, it would be unlawful. It would be treading on states' rights. So why would the state need to wait until they're injured when the very essence of the examination and promulgation of a rulemaking process will result in, to use my example, being shot in the face? So anyway, I wanted to explain it like that so you understand. Is this an existential ruling? Is this devastating? It's not at that level yet. So the people who have posted, this means that Trump can do it. It's not what it means. But I don't take it as lightly as some people who are like, don't worry about it, okay? And I'm not just a worry person. I'm a realist. And I know Trump's trying to create confusion, and this ruling can inject some confusion. But states need to be prepared for it. I know you have good attorney generals in the states who have been preparing for these types of scenarios. Sorry, I digress there, but I figured I might as well just explain that aspect to you because you may have been wondering my take. And I wanted to explain it to you with the depth and detail that issue actually deserves. Let me get back to what I was saying before, though. I mean, Trump ranting and raving like a lunatic over the last 10 years. The United States lost an average $60 billion a year with Canada. I don't know what you're referring to. The only reason why there is a trade deficit at all with Canada is simply there would actually be a surplus, but for the fact that we get our energy from Canada and we depend on it, and it makes things cheaper and better for us here. So it is a self-induced and very beneficial deficit with Canada. But otherwise, if you took out the much needed energy, the United States would be having a surplus with Canada right now. And just this whiny behavior. Canada's been ripping, this is what he posted again, Canada's been ripping off the U.S. for decades. They've been charging our farmers 400% tariffs and more. I want you to understand what's going on here, okay? Donald Trump has ruined the lives of our farmers over and over again. There's a lot of groups that Donald Trump destroys lives of. Farmers, he loves hurting farmers. And farmers need to realize what the hell he's doing. And I think they are waking up. I did a video earlier today in Arkansas. Their big thing is soybean farmers over there. Trump is destroying, as it's been explained to me also, a lot of it actually began when Trump started trade wars with China in 2018. It's Trump's policies really began a period of destroying the livelihood of American farmers, and he's accelerated that right now. So this is where Trump feels most comfortable, when he can be the fraud and the con artist. He's not comfortable building, growing, doing the tough work, making deals. No, where he's comfortable is defrauding and finding scapegoats and finding people to blame. It's when the house is on fire, you don't expect people to you expect people to help. Donald Trump sees the house on fire because he burned it, and he wants to blame other people so he can burn more houses down. That's what Donald Trump's strategy is. And when things are chaotic and crazy and problematic and there's all these issues, it's easier to blame people when there's crises that are taking place. So Trump is looking for Canada as a scapegoat. He's Dr. Fauciing Canada. That's kind of one of the goals here, is let's blame Canada for the suffering of Americans because that Donald Trump created. And because Canada is close, just point to them and create an enemy literally at the border and fearmonger and make Canada the enemy and do the same tactics. Now, Canada's recognizing what Trump is doing. They're fighting back. They're standing up. The American people are also like, dude, what the hell are you even doing here? Like, we like Canada. We love Canada. They're our friend. Why are you picking weird fights? Like, no American wants this other than the few remaining Trump sycophants that are out there. I saw the latest YouGov poll showed Donald Trump's approval rating when it comes to people who strongly approve of Donald Trump, people who consider that they strongly approve of Trump, 13% of the population. That's it. Only 13% strongly approve of Donald Trump. But most people are like, dude, what? Well, going after Canada? What do we love Canada? We should be working with Canada. What the hell are you even doing right here? So you have that, and then you have the people of Canada firmly united behind Prime Minister Carney. And the people of Canada know what went down. The people of Canada realize what Howard Lutnick and Trump were trying to do. This has always been an attack on Canadian sovereignty. Trump is a predator. He's a sexual predator. He's a predator in every aspect of his life. He is a destroyer. Trump continues to say in his posts, like the one I was just reading you, Canada feels entitled to be a state, but they are not a state. You know, that's what predators say. That's the line of freaking sicko predators. Canada doesn't want to be a state. Canada's proud. It's sovereign. It doesn't want to be a state. Canada thought it was in an alliance with the United States. They thought it was the closest alliance. And Donald Trump made it very clear that under his regime, he was going to be the super predator that he is, and he was going to continue to attack Canada over and over again and come up with whatever tactics he could in order to make Canada the 51st state. That's what he's always tried to do. That's what this is always about. There's no way ever that Canada can actually do a deal with this guy. Just look at the language that he's using right now. You know, they feel entitled. They feel entitled. They're not a state. They don't feel entitled to anything. To the extent they feel that there was a deal that you idiot Trump did during your first term called Kuzma, the Canadian-US-Mexico agreement, which you bragged about, which was basically an update to NAFTA. That was your deal. Those were the terms. You break your own deals. And then you've been tapping Canada along all of this time. And now you thought this new tactic would get them to submit. They're not submitting. And it's just, the stuff that he whines about. They've been charging our farmers 400%. They wanted 100% of the market for Gulfstream's Canadian competitor. What, Bombardier? I deal with many countries. Canada is easily the most difficult and unreasonable. I just want you to think about that under Donald Trump's framework as well. He says that Canada is more unreasonable to deal with than Russia and North Korea. And that language is war language, bud. That language is sicko war language. So when you say stuff like that, and then you're like, why aren't they buying our booze? They should because you're a sicko. Because you're saying the most heinous things about them, and they don't like you, and they hate you. And the hatred is so deeply rooted because I know perhaps for you, idiot, words and things are just constructs to defraud and they have no meaning. And for you, life is meaningless other than hoarding money for yourself. But for some people, they stand on principle. They stand on actual things that matter to them. And they care about their communities and they care about other people, and then they also care about their families, and they care about the world, and they care about the climate and the environment. They actually care about other things as well. I know that's a hard concept for you to understand, that civilizations and people can actually be proud of their land and proud to be a part of something other than being a freaking blood-sucking money mosquito and just trying to rip people apart, but Canadians are proud of what they have. And again, Donald Trump's posting photos of Lake Ontario with an X through it, and he goes, Lake America, Lake America. It's clown behavior. That's clown behavior. And it's deeply serious too. I mean, you're threatening the sovereignty of a proud nation by getting rid of the name of and again, it just shows how pathetic and desperate you are. And again, who behaves like this? And while this is taking place, I talk about this morning that while you're doing that, you have your CIA director in Russia. And there's no explanation why your CIA director is arrived. A plane just arrives. The United States doesn't get readouts anymore. Like, what's the plan? Who are we talking to here? What's the situation? And then you have this stupidity like this. Brooke Rollins I'll show you two Brooke Rollins clips. The first one, Brooke Rollins is asked this morning, she's the agriculture secretary, which specific countries have been in talks with the U.S. about stepping up beef imports? Because Donald Trump posted the other day that he has made a deal with foreign countries to import frozen beef into the United States that will undercut our ranchers here by 25%. So naturally, from a health perspective, the American people would like to also know, where's this beef coming from? Is it going to go through any of the processes to make sure it's healthy, number one? Number two, why are you doing price controls that benefit foreign countries? Why are you screwing over our ranchers? And also, this isn't classified data. Where's the beef coming from? We don't want mystery beef. What the hell is this even? And so everybody's saying, what's going on? Let us know. Just let us know. This is not a state secret. And Brooke Rollins is the agriculture secretary. This is her file. This is her portfolio. So watch what she says over here. Which specific countries have been in talks? Let's play it.
Finish with you.
About the beef imports. What specific countries have been in talks with the U.S. about stepping up those beef imports, aside from Mexico, which you just know?
I am not privy to talk about that. I think the conversations are still going on, and that's Ambassador Greer, who's finalizing what exactly that looks like. And I think the president's involved in that as well. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm not privy to talk about it. The sentence structure doesn't even, what do you mean you're not privy to talk about it? Are you not privy to it? Or are you not allowed to talk about it? You're not privy to talk. These are just dumb people. These are just idiotic, evil people. Jameson Greer's working on those details. And then, no, Donald Trump posted he had a deal to get it done and to make it happen right now. And ranchers are furious, and rightfully so. The American people are worried right now that we could have contaminated beef sources, which we know we already do. So what the hell's actually happening? You're not privy to what? You're not privy to share? I never even heard that. What do you mean you're not privy to share? Do you not know? Is this all made up? Who the hell lies about this? Sickos lie about this stuff. And again, I step back and I go, this isn't a Democrat thing. This isn't a Republican thing. This isn't an independent thing. This should not be political thing. There's a reason why Trump's approval right now is 13% amongst a strongly approved crowd. Only 35% of Republicans strongly approve. Nobody wants to go to I'll talk about this when I come back from break. Nobody wants to go to the midterm convention in Texas. They don't want to be next to Donald Trump. It's going to be an utter disaster. We'll cover it, of course. But just where's the beef coming from? Why the hell is the CIA director going to Russia? Why the hell are you continuing to cover up the Epstein files? Why do you keep on lying that the Strait of Hormuz is open? What did Trump post this morning? He demined it. I am proud to announce that the Strait of Hormuz no longer has mines in it. It's literally a post. I have just been informed by the United States Navy that all mines have been removed and or detonated from within the international waters of the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, honestly, F you, you piece of shit. I mean it seriously from the bottom of my heart. You really are a piece of shit. You can't just make up lies like that. You would need Navy destroyers that do demining to go in the Strait of Hormuz. Stop lying about serious matters of war and peace. It's crazy. You didn't demine it. You didn't blow up the mines. The mines are still there. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. They struck another tanker yesterday in the Bab el-Mandab Strait in the Red Sea. You had the Houthis. They were able to strike a Saudi tanker 1,000 kilometers away. If Iran wanted to strike our super carriers, they have those capabilities because the Houthis are using those weapons from the Iranians that are developed in Iran. Stop saying things that aren't true. It's like literally a crazy thing that every sound, syllable, word, it's all a lie. It's nuts. It's nuts. And while you do that, you have Treasury Secretary Bessent saying he's going to blow up the global world financial system. Idiot, you created it. It's the US's financial system, you idiot. You're going to blow up the system because you lost a catastrophic war against Iran that we should not have been in the first place. So you're going to blow up the financial order. Who the hell says that? We got Treasury Secretary, but we're going to blow up the global financial order. So we're going to press pause because why would I blow it up? So we're confident that the countries are going to follow us. China responded right away. We ain't doing that. We support Iran. Get the hell out of here. You know how embarrassing that is for the United States when you say we need you to pick China or Iran? I mean, we need you to pick US and Iran, and China and most countries are like, oh, easy, Iran, easy, Iran. So you went from being a superpower to now being on the JV compared to Iran. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's, again, not Democrat, not Republican. That's just an objective fact of where we are. Okay, let's take our first break of the show. A reminder, that's our book right there, WTF America. If you're like me, you wake up and you go, WTF, seriously, what the hell is going on right here? Subscribe to our channel. Get your WTF America now. Let's take our first break of the show. We'll be right back. A lot to discuss when we come back. Thanks for watching. Look, if you're in this community, you're paying attention. You know what's happening. And a lot of what's happening, it's directly affecting your Medicare. Plans are being discontinued. Premiums are going up. And the broker you might have talked to probably pushing Medicare Advantage plans, even if they aren't right for you. That's why I want you to know about Chapter. They're the only advisors who compare every Medicare plan in the country. Thousands of people from this community have already used them. One viewer, Kevin in Florida, is saving $2,100 a year. Another, Steven, finally has a plan that covers his dialysis. And for the Meidas Mighty, a call with Chapter is free and takes just 20 minutes. So if you're on the right plan, they'll tell you. And if not, they'll help you find a plan that fits your needs. I want you to know that we've gotten such incredible feedback from the Meidas Mighty about Chapter. Frankly, it is overwhelming, the positivity that is out there for Chapter. And so I'm so glad to be affiliated with it. I'm so glad you're all having great experiences. So call 82 Medicare today to speak with Chapter. That is 82 Medicare, and feel confident in your Medicare coverage.
I got to tell you, I've been playing around with this dupe.com website. Have you used this yet? This website is incredible. I found something I really wanted online, but the price was just way more than I wanted to spend. So I put it into dupe.com and it immediately started finding similar options for way less. And it's not just furniture. You could use dupe.com for fashion, shoes, jewelry, and more. You could even just describe what you need, like comfortable couch under $2,000, and then let dupe.com do the searching for you. I love it because it makes comparison shopping ridiculously easy, and I've already found options that could save me a ton of money. Using dupe.com is insanely simple. Just go to dupe.com and paste any product URL, upload a photo, and it'll instantly show you similar items for way less. There's also an app and a browser extension if you want to make it even easier. No account needed, totally free. Start saving money today with dupe.com.
Welcome back to Ben on Breaking News. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is your breaking news. I was showing you there. You had the Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, saying, yeah, it's whatever. Let me show you over here which specific countries have been in talks with the U.S. about stepping up beef imports. I'm not privy to talk about that. Here, Brooke Rollins refers to Donald Trump's trade war against Canada. And she goes, from my perspective, Donald Trump is the ultimate negotiator. He makes great deals. He's never made a single good deal. Can anybody point to me to a single deal that this guy has made? Just period. Just point to a deal that he's actually made that has held up? Start there. Obviously, anything he does which claims is a deal ends up in something catastrophic. But what deal has this guy ever made in his life? I know that he's bankrupted things. I know he's bankrupted most of his casinos. He's bankrupted most of his companies. I know that he's a felon. I know that he's been found liable as a in civil case for sexually assaulting a woman, Eugene Carroll. I know that he's on audio bragging about sexually assaulting women because he's rich. He says, when you're rich, you can do it. Just what's this guy's deal? Show me. I mean, I want to know. I mean, is there any deal that like that was the great deal that this guy made? No, there isn't. It's just all a bunch of bullshit. Everything about them, the whole narrative, it's all a lie. Dude got handed money from his dad. He failed in a bunch of his businesses. He relentlessly has this fire hose of disinformation where he wiggles out and blames people for all of these things, and he relentlessly pursues lies, and he's just this massive predator in life who's just an incarnate of evilness who just exploits people his whole life. That's him. Bernie Madoff on steroids. Bernie Madoff on nuclear Bernie Madoff right now. And by the way, I mean, if you're Iran and if you're China or if you're Russia or if you're whoever, you're thinking to yourself, let him cook, right? They're thinking, let him cook. This guy's out there destroying the United States every damn day. Don't interrupt when your enemy's out there doing that. Honestly, you couldn't have a more powerful weapon launched against the United States than Donald Trump's behavior in shattering the post-World War II architecture that the United States created. The expression, a bull in a china shop, the expression should be updated to, you have a Donald Trump in the post-World War II architecture. It doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well, but you've got this guy just destroying and tearing apart what the U.S. led and what the U.S. benefited from post-World War II. I mean, as he's out here, behaving this way, let me show you. This is Brooke Rollins, Trump's agriculture secretary, talking about Trump's trade war with Canada. Here's what she had to say. Let's play.
Well, again, I don't want to get ahead of the president. He is, from my perspective, the ultimate negotiator. I've seen a lot of people doubt his decisions, and then I've seen them always work out in the trade realm, especially. And I'm really proud that he's willing to stand up and make the hard decisions. There's no doubt that it causes concern amongst our farmers and ranchers, as it is a lot of unknown out there. But as the group of men and women and communities that have been his most avid supporters from the moment he came down the escalator in 2015, he has our ag producers at the very top of the list. And we've seen this with all of the trade deals. Every one of those 20 new trade deals, whether it's soybeans or cotton.
Okay, no, go soybeans. Let's do soybeans. Okay, 13 million metric tons less, and probably more than under former President Biden. That's what you want us to be like the seal at SeaWorld and go, oh, okay, good job. How is that deal beneficial? No, what Trump has done with farmers is he love bombs them and he lies to them. And he drags them along, and he uses the trappings of American patriotism to tap them along. That's an expression that he likes to use, to tap them along and promise them their riches are right around the corner. And the first time he did it, he was then able to blame Biden for the mess that he created during his first term and say it was all Biden's fault. But all that was happening was what happened under Trump's first term. And I believe our farmers are waking up to it, and they're seeing, oh, you said you were going to fix it. You're 2 years in now. You had 4 years originally, and now you had another 2 years in right now, and nothing that you said has actually happened. In fact, we now have a control group and a variable group. And we know that it's actually much worse now than it was under former President Biden. And Trump spent the first year, I promise you, it's right around the corner. It's Biden's fault. It's Biden's fault. It's Biden's fault. Well, now we're in year 2. And now what are you doing? It's still Biden's fault. Everything's still Biden's fault. And, and then you'll hear that he's the ultimate deal maker. He loves you. He's there for you. Talk is cheap. Okay. And for Trump, words mean nothing because he has no value. He has no principle. He has no anything. He is a money sucker. That's it. He wants to take your money from you and he will do and say literally anything. And by the way, I don't want to underestimate the power of it. I mean, look at the relentless dishonesty in which he went to a war. What is worse than lying about the pretext of a war, the commission of the war, the loss in the war, what's happening right now? Think about it. If you're such a sicko that you're going to claim that we've gotten rid of the mines in the Strait of Hormuz and that 16 million barrels are leaving on a daily basis, which couldn't be more further from reality, think about what you're capable of lying about. But I want you to think about there is a power to the lies, and he motivates a whole bunch of greedy, shitty human beings who also, for their own self-interest, but who are also profiting off of this as well. They push the hell out of this over and over, fire hose, relentless. Think about what they're doing in Iran, okay? Now imagine he trains that weapon, that fire hose of disinformation on farmers who can barely get by with the kind of current economy. And let's be clear, farmers have gotten hurt post-NAFTA. Farmers have gotten hurt post-Kuzma. Farmers have gotten hurt in a rapidly globalizing world where foreign agriculture, foreign ranchers can undercut a U.S. market. So you have to understand there is a reality that the farmer's experience is not being protected. But Trump knows that, and he preys on this group even more. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. But it's Trump's mindset and Trump's policies and Trump's friends in the Epstein class who were largely responsible for inflicting the pain and suffering on farmers to begin with. The arsonists convincing groups of people that they're the firefighter. The wolf in sheep's clothing, literally, to use this in a farmer's context, is exactly what we've seen take place. And I do think there is an awakening amongst farmers right now. That's why you do see in Arkansas, for example, a Democratic Senate candidate may actually upset the MAGA Republican Tom Cotton in Arkansas. I interviewed the Democratic candidate today. Go and watch that interview. The Democrats leading in Arkansas right now. I'm looking at districts. I covered it this morning in Texas. 15th congressional district over there. You know, this is the Arkansas poll right over here. Go back to the Arkansas. Trump's net negative 15 in Arkansas. Haley Schaffner beating Tom Cotton right now, 47 to 44%. I did a video on it this morning as Donald Trump wants to do this midterm convention in Texas and Dallas. And of course, no coordination with Dallas City Council, who's going to incur all of these costs and fees because the Trump regime, they don't give a shit about anybody other than themselves. There was a great puck piece from last night and this morning about how disarray it is and that none of these Republican candidates want to be associated with this event. No one wants to show up and be on the stage. You have all the delegates like, why are we doing this? And then the event is like during the first week of NFL as well. So it's like, who's going to be watching this when you have all these NFL games? But it just goes to show you there's zero coordination, zero prep. But if you go and look in the Beeville area in Texas, 80% Hispanic community, 13,500 people in Beeville. They voted 70% for Donald Trump. And you're seeing Hispanic voters shifting away from Republicans in Texas in historic margins right here. You have Bobby Polito, very well-known musician in the area and amongst the Latino community in general, drawing huge crowds in Beeville, the biggest event in the history of Beeville right there. And a lot of these gerrymandered districts of Donald Trump and Abbott, we can see that they may end up being dummy-mandered in the sense of they believe that the Hispanic community, and I'm not trying to suggest the Hispanic community is a monolith and there's different Hispanic communities in Texas like there are in Florida, like they are throughout the country, but overwhelmingly, I think, share the sense of Donald Trump promised us jobs. He promised us a better economy. He promised affordability. And now He's attacked our community. He sent ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo to profile us, to go after our family members who are law-abiding immigrants. He said he was going to go after the criminals. That's not what's taken place. And Trump's launched an attack on the Hispanic community. And you're seeing a massive swing to the Democratic side right now amongst the Hispanic community. And I don't want Democrats to take this for granted. They're not, I mean, you have like someone like a Bobby Polito, who's a good candidate. Talarico is a good candidate out there. Gina Hinojosa, who's running for governor, is a very good candidate. And Democrats are running a lot of good candidates throughout the nation at a local level. So when a Democrat generic is up against, like right now, the generic Democrats are up like 7 or 8 points against generic Republicans. But Democrats aren't running generic Democrats. They're actually running some really good Democratic candidates. Not always, but running some really good candidates that are very local, very in the communities, doing constant town halls, doing constant meetings, while MAGA Republicans are like running away from their own constituents because they know that if they do a town hall, it's going to be clipped by MeidasTouch. We're going to show the people booing them, and we're going to show the people asking them questions like, why is Donald Trump and you covering up child sex trafficking rings? Why are you covering up for the Epstein class? Why'd you lie to us about the big, beautiful bill? We know it's impacting our community right now. Why'd you rip away healthcare? Why are things way more expensive? Why are we in this unlawful and catastrophic war with Netanyahu? Why is our money going to fuel a genocide in Gaza? Why is it out there being used to help Netanyahu slaughter people in Lebanon and elsewhere in the Middle East? Why is our money going to $1.5 trillion to the military industrial complex here and not going to help Americans at home? How is this America first? So they don't want to be a part of that at all. But I don't want Democrats to be like, oh yeah, they love us. They must love us. Not quite. No, I actually know that people want accountability. They want people. They don't want this crew, but you have to make the case that you ain't just the status quo. And Democrats need to do a better job in general, as a whole, making it very clear that they are listening to the people, that they are responding to the people, and they will deliver for the people relentless and ruthless accountability to the people. That's what is needed right now, more than relentless and ruthless accountability. Let's be very, very clear. You ain't going to make deals with the Trump administration. And that needs to be messaged to the American people. Okay. The American people are not looking to potentially vote for Democrats in the midterms, hoping that deals can be made for the American people, because everybody knows you can't do a deal with Trump. What people are looking for is relentless and ruthless accountability using all levers that you have, Democrats, if you control the House and if you control the Senate. There's not a deal on affordability. There's not a deal on immigration. There's not a deal on, there's no deals to be had with bad people. So stop it and let the people know honestly, when we take power, we are not doing deals with Trump. I would say that right away. We are not doing deals with Trump. He's incapable of doing a deal. We want everybody to know we're not even going to try. That's not why you should elect us. We don't want to work with them. They're scumbags. They're fascists. We do not want to work with them because they have demonstrated they are bad faith actors and they are incapable of doing deals. They don't want it. They just want to hurt you. The proposition is a simple one. Elect us because we want ruthless and relentless accountability. And here's how we're going to do that. Here's what it's going to look like in the House Oversight Committee. Here's what it's going to look like in the House Judiciary Committee. Here's what it's going to look like in the House Armed Services Committee. Here's what's going to look like in the House committees regarding agriculture. Here's how it's going to, that is the message. To me, it is as simple as that. And by the way, that ain't a political message, okay? That is a message of where the American people are at right now, generally, and why Donald Trump's approval is at 13% for strongly approved, according to the latest YouGov numbers. The American people see that the system of checks and balance has been destroyed and broken, okay? And people recognize that while Trump is still in power for 2 more years, we have to buckle up because it ain't going to be easy. He's a horrible person. and he's hell-bent on destroying America. And he will spend all day and night destroying America. So there's only one proposition to the voters, which is this is relentless and ruthless accountability. And we will spend every waking hour, every waking minute, every waking second doing investigations and holding hearings and bringing transparency and bringing accountability. And that's what we are going to do, period, full stop. That's my view. Feel free to disagree with that, but that's my view. How are you going to use your opposition to restrain, to stop, to block what the Trump regime is doing to harm and to destroy the United States of America, to kill the American dream, to destroy America's standing in the world? Simple proposition that I give you right there. Take a last break of the show. That's our book right there, WTF America. We'll be right back after our last quick break of the show.
Okay, you've heard me talk about them as fast-growing trees, but now they're just trees.com. It's the same trusted online nursery with a simpler name. Trees.com is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 3 million happy customers, me included. They have all the plants your yard or home needs, including fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and houseplants. Plus, their Alive and Thrive guarantee promises that your plants arrive happy and healthy. No green thumb required, just quality plants that you can count on. I've gotten plants from trees.com myself, including a lemon tree that people are always commenting on when they come over. And what I love is how easy they make the entire process. Shopping for plants in person can mean spending your weekend driving from nursery to nursery, trying to figure out what will actually work in your yard. But with trees.com, I can find exactly what I need online and have it delivered right to my door. The plants I've received arrived healthy, thriving, and ready to plant, and there's real peace of mind knowing they're backed by the Alive and Thrive guarantee, with plant experts available if you need help along the way. They have thousands of options for virtually every climate and space. Right now, they have great deals on planting essentials, up to half off on select plants, and listeners to our show get 20% off their purchase when using the code Meidas at checkout. That's an additional 20% off better plants and better growing at trees.com using the code Meidas at checkout. Trees.com, code Meidas, MEIDAS. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use Meidas to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply.
Meidas Mighty, let me tell you about Quince. Quince is all about fewer, better pieces. Their clothes are made with premium materials built to last and designed to become the ones you reach for day after day. Quince specializes in everyday staples that work harder, like their ultra-soft organic cotton tees and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They're versatile, timeless, and transition seamlessly from a casual workday to a dinner out. If you're still hanging on to that same old worn-out basics you got in your closet, Quince makes it easy to upgrade. They have premium denim and tailored chinos from just $60 with the kind of perfect fit, structure, and high-quality fabrics you'd expect from a luxury designer brand. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for high quality, not brand markup. Now, I love their organic mesh stitch-up button-up. Yeah, I always feel my best when wearing it. Definitely check that one out. And it's not just clothing. Quince has become my go-to for everything from hotel-quality bedding and bath essentials to premium cookware and travel must-haves. Upgrade your everyday. Go to quince.com/Meidas for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Meidas for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Meidas.
You know that feeling when something small just makes your day better? That's what Olipop is all about. Olipop is the feel-good soda, combining the classic soda taste you love with high fiber and functional ingredients that support digestive health. It has less sugar than traditional soda and is made with real ingredients and a thoughtful formulation. And Olipop's 6-gram fiber line now has a refreshed look, and I got the new cans right here. It's the same flavorful soda with the same digestive health support, just in a new can that shows off the feel-good soda inside. Because when you feel good on the inside, you live good on the outside. Now you you could get a free can of Olipop. Buy any 2 single cans of Olipop in store in any flavor at any retailer, and they will pay you back for one. Clip your coupons at drinkolipop.com/Midas. Find Olipop in the soda aisle or with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Target and Walmart. Again, that's drinkolipop.com/Midas. MEIDAS.
Welcome back to Ben on Breaking News. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is your breaking news. Thank you to our sponsors. They support the show, support our sponsors. During the break, I saw go through the wire a headline that says, breaking, a ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran has been agreed upon. It includes free navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. Someone else goes, a ceasefire between Washington and Tehran has been agreed upon. Pakistani military sources and Iranian security sources tell RIA News. And then there's this account on social media that always gets pumped by Elon Musk's algorithm, Walter Bloomberg, which is, I think the guy's name is Walter, and Bloomberg is the portal that he acts like the Bloomberg portal. U.S.-Iran ceasefire reportedly nears. The U.S. and Iran have reportedly reached a ceasefire agreement with an announcement expected in the coming days. RIA Novosti reported, citing Pakistani and Iranian military sources. The reported deal includes navigation through the Strait of Hormuz and renewed negotiations under the Islamabad Memorandum. Neither Washington nor Tehran has confirmed the agreement, while Oman and Iran separately proposed temporary mechanisms to restore the strait traffic. Y'all know what RIA Novosti is, or RIA Novosti? It's Russian. It's a news network from Russia, from inside Russia right now. So I'm just trying to, I'm not suggesting this for a fact, but in the law, we would have certain concepts saying the thing speaks for itself. So I'm just trying to understand. We had our CIA director, John Ratcliffe, in Russia for a short period of time. And now there is an announcement, which is likely false, by the way. I don't. It seems to be one of a Pakistani military official and an Iranian official is saying, we pretty much have been hearing from, we know who the Pakistani officials are. We know who the people are and the players are, right? You have, who are we talking about? The Prime Minister of Pakistan. You're talking about the Field Marshal Munir. Are you talking about Sharif, the Prime Minister, Munir, the Field Marshal? Are we talking about MB Ghalibaf, Iran's parliament leader? Are we talking about Foreign Minister Araghchi? Are we talking about Deputy Foreign Minister Garbabaldi? Who are we talking about here that you're claiming? Are we talking about Moshe Razi, the new top advisor to the Ayatollah on the IRGC side of things? We know like this is shrouded in mystery, but I'm sure this will manipulate the markets again. And people be like, oh, we're really close this time. We're really close. And then you just have to ask yourself, close to what though? That they're just going to go back to the memorandum of understanding that was previously implemented? Then why would the U.S. start striking Iran if they were going to go back to the MOU? And then you had Besson saying economic D-Day yesterday. The through line here is that whether it's Trump's attack on Canada, Trump claiming the Strait of Hormuz is demined, Donald Trump claiming he brought in $19.1 trillion, Donald Trump this, that, and the guy is a liar. The United States of America now, sadly, and I say that I think it's our job as patriotic Americans to call this out so we can get out of this freaking mess, is unreliable, unpredictable, frankly, weirder and more deranged than North Korea ever was, even under the prior, even under Kim Jong-un's dad. At least Kim Jong-un focuses on North Korea. Donald Trump's out there, doing communism that does price controls to help mystery foreign countries and undercut American ranchers. Kim Jong-un has at least a 5, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year plan. You may not like what the plan is. You probably shouldn't. What's Donald Trump's plan? He wakes up in the morning and goes, blah. What stupid shit am I going to post today? Blah. Natalie, Donald ballroom, big. Donald want gilded bronze statue. Donald want new reflecting pool. Donald want new triumphal arch. It's like stupid stuff, man. It's stupid. And I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today about this. I'm just like, here's the thing. Even when we debate within this construct of here's what Trump said, here's the position of MAGA, here's the position, here's the counter position, we are still giving credence that this is somehow the game and that this is normal politics. Versus, we should just say, this shit is crazy. What the F is this? This is gross. This is disgusting. And we need to build a healthy ecosystem of truthful discussions about what's really happening in the world and meet the people where they are, uplift what the people are talking about, and then relentlessly talk about that. Like, we're not talking enough that the Trump regime is out there every damn day covering up child sex trafficking rings. Overtly. They're not helping the New Mexico Attorney General do investigations into the Zorro Ranch where Epstein had a home, refusing to do that, refusing to work with an AG. Obviously, Katie Fang from the MeidasTouch Network has her lawsuit against the Trump regime under the Epstein Transparency Act. Allison Gill, who's got a show on the MeidasTouch Network pursuing her FOIA litigation against the Trump regime. In the UK, they're trying to launch investigations into the former ambassador to the United States. And they're asking the US DOJ, hey, can you give us some of the documents? Because we are trying to investigate our people who may have been involved in this. And the Trump DOJ is like, nah. And we can't lose sight of that. One of the reasons, the main reason Trump went into this unlawful and catastrophic war with Netanyahu was to cover up the Epstein files. And that's not being hyperbolic. That's not being whatever. It just seems pretty damn obvious. I was looking at the New York Post cover this morning. New York Post. This was their article. So if you're in Manhattan, this is how you're getting your news from their right-wing New York Post. U.S. pushes world to deal final economic blow to broke Iran out of moolah, squeezing, poison snake, the cut that really hurts. What are we even talking about here? The world has responded. China has said, nope, we're not doing this. We're not going along with that at all. So now what? China said no. You think India is going to go along with this? No. Why would they? You've already attacked all these countries. You've already imposed tariffs on Modi. You've already attacked this country and that country. Why would they go along and why would they help you? I'll show you this clip. China's foreign ministry saying China has made clear on many occasions its firm opposition to illicit unilateral sanctions. This is from this morning. This is China's foreign ministry. Let's play it.
China has made clear on many occasions its firm opposition to illicit unilateral sanctions that have no basis in international law or the authorization of UN Security Council. Economic wars and maximum pressure are not the solution. On the contrary, they will only lead to escalation and risk spillover, which will disrupt the global economic and financial order and harm the legitimate interests of other countries. The pressing
Okay, then China said the following as well, responding to Besant. Let's play it.
China's cooperation with Iran is conducted within the framework of international law and should not be disrupted. China is closely following the developments and will take all necessary measures to firmly safeguard its rights and interests.
So when I see a New York Post paper front cover like that, I mean, what's the? What is it sell more papers? Is this helpful? To prop up this This doesn't make us stronger. It just makes us look more demented to the rest of the world. Yeah. Besant was asked yesterday, during D-Day, there was a storming of Normandy and other nearby beaches, and it wasn't announced. It just happened. So why are you saying this is economic D-Day, but not actually following through and not doing the thing that you said you're going to do? Okay, you said that you're going to destroy any country that engages in business with Iran. Well, China's the main one. There's a lot of others as well. We know who they are. So what are you doing? What's the game plan? I want you to watch what he said in response to that. Play this clip.
Let's see. You in the front.
You described this as an economic D-Day, but D-Day wasn't a threat of an invasion, and the U.S. didn't give a timeline to Germany. So why not impose the sanctions today?
Well, we are giving everyone the opportunity to remedy bad behavior. Why would I want to blow up the global financial system? We believe that it is important to level set and give people a cure period, but they should know that that will move very quickly and that we are serious. Secondary sanctions are a very powerful tool, and we here at Treasury, this is Gene Lang, the acting Undersecretary for Terrorism Finance, and in the Terrorism Finance Department and at OFAC, the reason we are able to use secondary sanctions is because we do not take their use lightly. So we believe that a warning shot and a level set of expectations is appropriate. And if people do not want to meet our expectations, then we expect.
Yeah, China said they don't want to meet your expectations. They said it before you announced it. They said it while you were announcing it. They said it after you announced it. There's nobody calling you. There's nobody calling Trump. You don't have allies. You don't have allies who will go along with you in this. None. Zero. And if economic D-Day was the approach that would destroy Iran, and that was your goal, to cripple them or whatever the hell you said you were going to do. First off, why are we doing it? If you control the Strait of Hormuz, cripple them for what? You already control the Strait of Hormuz, is what you said. And we've already won, and we've demined everything, and everything is amazing. So what's even if we won and they're destroyed, don't you want to just go back home? Oh, well, that would be logical, Ben, and this regime isn't using logic. Okay, if you are eventually going to destroy the global financial order, don't you think that's going to hurt Americans also? Global financial order, a globe. Let me try to explain this to you, Besant. There's a globe, and on that globe is the United States of America. So you're going to do something that destroys everybody's global world order, but you also think that that's going to encourage companies to want to do business with you. And going back to what I said at the outset, it's because this Trump regime and Besant and all of these people, they're predators. So not shocking that they cover up for the Epstein class, not shocking that the Trump regime's first day of catastrophic war, killing little girls. Who else, right? I mean, that's Trump regime 101. Slaughter little girls. Where? Elementary schools, Manab, Lemaitre, girls playing volleyball. Test out new weapons amongst the little girls playing volleyball. These pellet weapons that spray these pellets and killed all these girls during volleyball practice, day one of the war. Doesn't get enough attention. It should. The Lemaitre, and there's so many other examples like that I could give. But your view is you're going to destroy the global world order in a war we've already won, where we've apparently demined the Strait of Hormuz and have all the same oil coming out. But now countries need to join with us, or else we'll make everybody's life miserable. Like, you realize that makes you sound like an absolute loser, and it's not going to encourage. Oh, that's the guy I want to do business with. That's the guy I want to do. Oh, yeah, got it. The guy who's threatening to blow up the global world order seems like a rational guy that I should follow through with, and see what else he wants to talk about. And then, these countries, are run by people who can see and who can communicate, right? So they'll be like, all right, what's the White House posting? What are they focused on at the White House? Oh, got it. They're posting the Magic School Bus cartoon, and they're showing depictions of brutalizing immigrants, and they're calling it the Magic Deportation Bus. And they've co-opted a childhood classic to turn it into a promotion of torturing immigrants. Oh, got it. Like, this country's a bunch of sickos. Got it. They're like sick. They're like psycho. They're like led by a psychotic human being. That's why all of these articles over intellectualize like what's happening. It's like, guys, we have a psychotic lunatic piece of shit in the Oval Office. It's like very basic. It's not not complicated. He's a felon. He's a predator. He's a horrible person. He's doing horrible things. He's destroyed our alliances. We've never been weaker. We are weird. It looks very odd. It's strange. It's demented. The guy's out there, rotting away before our eyes also. He didn't know which side of the green flag to hold, whether he holds the handle or the green side of it. He's got Natalie following him around. You got Melania doing weird poses in front of Indy cars. It's like just fucking weird. Excuse my language. It's just weird. It's just a bunch of like weird, weak, like losers. And that's how the rest of the world sees it. And there's really no other way to see it. And I'm not trying to have a debate with you about it. It's just, that's the fact. You maybe you like that. It's weird if that's what you're into, but it's hard for you to be like, nah, this is it. We're so strong now. Everybody fears us. Economic is stupid. We're clowns. We're clowns and we're losers under the Trump regime. It's how everybody sees us. You all remember like going to the party, and sometimes there's somebody there who like, is like, I don't know, just so rude or isn't wanted there. And they pretend that they're like wanted there. And you're like, this guy, like, why are they here? Like, nobody wants him there. And they're like, hey, everybody, I'm here. And it's like, we don't want you. Like why? They're still here. They're still around. The rest of the world is looking at the United States like they're that person who like just won't go away, who's just a loser and who's weird and pathetic. And it's just like, what the hell do they do? What do they do? What do these losers do? And that's sad. It's sad to me that people here in the United States, that there's some people who like don't see this, like who think that this is like, there are a small group of people now still who think this is somehow the golden age and this is great and this is amazing. It's really hard for me to fathom that, like that right now on August 25th, 2026, that you can be like, yeah, this is really strength. Really? Really? Honestly, it was less embarrassing when Trump would talk about Hannibal Lecter all the time. Like what's happening now is far more weird and far more strange. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you today. Do you pre-order WTF America? Please pre-order it. It's out right now. Check it out. You can pre-order it. It actually comes out, October 20th. Yeah, someone says North Korea is way more rational. Like by far right now, Kim Jong-un in North Korea is far more rational than the way Trump behaves on a daily basis. I don't see everyday social media posts of, it would be like, is what it'd be like if Kim Jong-un started making posts attacking China every day and mocking China and saying China's, we're going after China. It's like China's their ally. Like they have a plan. Our allies, Canada. You idiot. What are we talking about? Canada's our ally. They're our closest friend. What are you doing? You're waking up, posting. This is the encore. This is the post from Canada. I got to show you this one before. I got to show you this one. This is what I mean. So when you're like, oh, Ben, that's hyperbolic. We're obviously more mature than North Korea. This is what I saw this morning. You ready? So when Trump posted, over the last 10 years, the United States lost on average $60 billion a year with Canada. Show the other one, though, Jeremy, where I have the ad underneath from Trump's social media platform. It's in the same stack. It should say it. But underneath, that's it right there. That's it right there. Just think about if Kim Jong-un posted this. Okay? Think about if any world leader posted this. So you're attacking our closest ally, and then you've attached an ad to it on your social media platform that obviously this is your social media platform and your name, image, and likeness is in this ad. Trump $1,000 bill being given away free for Truth Social users. Hurry, only 71 left. Trump $1,000 bills are being given away. Quickly, you have to buy a $1,000 bill. There's only 71 left under a post attacking what should be our closest ally. You want me to have a rational debate with people who think that's freaking normal? No, that's why they want to talk about the WNBA. Why do you think they want to talk about Sophie Cunningham? Why do you think they want to talk about whatever culture war? Why do you think they want to have Enes Kanter Freedom pick fights and then go, oh, the WNBA? You know, all the zero transgender people in the WNBA is really keeping me up at night. You know, I'm really concerned about all zero transgender people. And what's my daughter going to do? Why are they talking about that? Because they don't want you talking about that there's a demented, psychotic thing in the Oval Office who's systematically destroying our country. That's why. That's why they want to talk about the stupid shit. I leave you with that. Hit subscribe. It's the encore. The encore. Hit subscribe. Appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Shout out Midas Mighty. Thanks, everybody.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.